Sanjeev ji, I think we can start now. Sanjeev ji.
Yes, we can start the webinar.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and I welcome you all to this webinar for digitizing of non-core activities. This webinar is conducted by Megasoft Solutions in collaboration with Mighty Startup Hub. And now I invite Sanjeev Jain ji to please introduce Megasoft Group and himself, and please start the webinar.
Avanshuji, thank you very much for giving us an opportunity. Thank you very much for holding this webinar. And good afternoon to all dear friends, colleagues, and all attendees to this webinar. We as a group of Megasoft are pleased to present this webinar to all the startups and colleagues. And through this webinar, we want to showcase the skills of Megasoft and availability of its potential in terms of distinguishing between the core and the non-core activities for startups. What activities startups should do and focus on, and what activities it can be outsourced to Megasoft and group companies. In Megasoft, we have created a 360-degree approach, which we will be exhibiting during the course of discussion, and how we propose to take this discussion further is we will have an half an hour session of exhibiting the various kind of features and capabilities what Megasoft as a company can bring on Forte for various startups, and what help or what assistance it can provide to startups in various fields. The broad parameters being in the areas of HR and related activities, accounting, taxation, legal activities, and digital marketing, which is a new introduction to our group and which is one of the most important forte, which pandemic and COVID has taught all of us as to how to extend our reach through digitalizing our marketing approach. So we are going to just exhibit these fortes of ours and strengths of Megasoft in terms of available resources. And then we will leave a question hour session for all the attendees to ask as many questions as they feel, so that we can address all the concerns and we will be able to bring clarity and we'll be able to bring a kind of semblance to the whole discussion. This is going to be a webinar series, and where we will, this is the first of its beginning, and then in the subsequent webinars we are going to bring out and showcase each and every product of ours and important issues which we want to highlight for startups. Before I begin, I must thank the Honorable Secretary, the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Mr. Ajay Prakash Sahni, Mr. Garg, and Mr. Jeet, CEO, and Devanshu Gupta ji for making this webinar possible for us. And we hope we are able to bring value add in terms of the startups and bring to table the advantages of company like Megasoft, where a 360-degree approach is being professed. I will just go through a brief presentation of ours, which I'm just going to put on the screen, and which briefly entails the various the various spectrums and the various kind of services which we are uh, exhibiting to providing to various companies. I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah. Okay. This is the brief profile of the Megasoft Group, uh, where we are sharing the vision with MSH, Ministry of IT and Electronics, to promote the basic objective of Government of India and promote the startups in terms of providing our services and providing our technology platform to various startups, various companies. In Megasoft and Datamodo and group companies, what we do is we provide various spectrum of services under one roof to the startups, where the startups can focus on their core business activity, and not so core, but yet core activities can be outsourced to companies at affordable prices like Megasoft. Startups has a big prominence in Indian economy. Just to share a few numbers very quickly, because all of us are aware of the startups, and just to bring the numbers and semblance and bring the importance of startups in the GDP. India is the third largest country in the startup ecosystem in the world, which with a constant growth of startups year by year of 12 to 15%. In the year 2018, we had 50,000 startups, out of which 8,900 to 9,000 startups were tech enabled or tech led startups. And in the year 2019, we had 1,300 startups, which means 2 to 3 startups per day were there. which were coming up on a day-to-day and a yearly basis. This number has become large numbers in the year 2020 and 21 is also a very promising year for the startups. Women entrepreneurs startup has also shot up from 10% to 14%. And in these cities, amongst various cities which are there in India, Bangalore has a prominence, and which is listed with the world's 20 startup city in 2019. Just a quick wrap up. In 2025, the startup is expected to be increased to number of 100,000 with creation of 3.25 million jobs creation and funding to increase to $150 billion and the total value creation exceeding $500 billion. So the role of startups in the whole ecosystem and the economy is prominently being recognized by the government, and various impetus and various boosts are being provided in terms of budgetary allowances, budgetary kind of concessions, holiday tax holidays, one-person company, which I'm going to talk about, which startups are enjoying or should be enjoying, and they are basically boosted by the government to this business sector. Uh, when we talk of startups, we thought of just putting a slide onto the various kind of challenges which are faced by various startups. And in our opinion, and in my experience, what I have felt and seen was there are three areas which the startup require hand holding. Prominent areas or three very macro level areas are change management, which is there, the external as well as internal environment change management, which needs to be configured, which needs to be understood, which needs to be applied to the business scenarios, is a bit of challenge. Due diligence management, which is part of the funding process, funding being the lifeblood of any business. Startups are different and more prominently requiring the capital infusion, and due diligence being part of it. It requires a very systematic and a strategic kind of an approach for due diligence to succeed and investors to be able to invest in startups. We have studied various cases of startups and have found that the due diligence failures have been the main cause of not being able to generate funds or failing the funding requirements. So this is another area where we feel there is a requirement. And the third area is about the compliance management. The compliance management is also pretty requirement, and there are huge penal interest penalties being imposed under various statutes and laws. And for a startup to manage all these things becomes a kind of a challenge. So everything embedded into one kind of a platform and one solution and single stop shop makes us a kind of a unique proposition with affordable pricing, as comes as a packaged deal, and startups can basically focus on their main activity. That is the thing I've been repeating again and again. Just to give you a small example of what are the change management which needs to be handled, which needs to be taken care of. The present budget of 2021, which has been announced by Honorable Finance Minister, there are certain provisions or relaxations or enjoyments which have been provided by the Honorable Finance Minister for the startups. Prominently being one person company for startups have been allowed without any restrictions on paid up capital and turnover. So any startup who wants to register as one person company without paid up capital restrictions and without turnover restrictions are permitted to do as per the fiscal budget for 2021. Then the second provision which the budget allows prominently for startups is the conversion into various kind of any kind of a company at any time. And the residency rules have been relaxed from 182 days to 120 days by the government in the fiscal budget of 2021. And further, NRIs have been also allowed to incorporate startups in the form of one person companies. There are certain tax holidays, extension, and capital gain exemptions for angel investors, which have been extended for one more year, that is 31st March 2022. So, what I mean to say is, as a startup, to keep track of, just as an example of what is happening, what are the new changes, what are the policy changes in the external environment which are happening, is kind of a challenge, and company like ours provide all these services under one roof in terms of newsletters, updates, in terms of communications which are there, and everything is enabled by technology, so the cost factor is kept very much under check and control. All process managements are embedded or embraced by technology, and technology helps us to take the processes further. Not only this, the scope of digital marketing, the scope of digital marketing is a very, very prominent scope, and paradoxical shift is there from the normal traditional kind of a business in terms of outlet sales team. There is a digital marketing solutions which are available and which are being patronized in terms of electronic platforms, and where digital marketing, where sales automation solutions, the communications, the virtual event management is all being managed electronically in the company data model, which is also part of us. So as a Megasoft group, we take care of a CFO platform where we take care of all accounting, taxation, legal, funding requirements, secretarial issues, all kind of costing setups. Costing setups is a prominent kind of a thing which most of the startups miss generally. And we have an electronic system or a technology based platform where we will provide the standardized costing versus the actual costing. Just to give a typical example of costing, how it impacts the bottom line is change in the minimum wages. Say some startups are in the state of Haryana, Punjab, or any other state where there is a increase in the minimum wages, which are not factored in the costing sheet when we are catering to various kind of customers. And at the year end, we come to a situation where we find that we are in a proposition of a loss making proposition. So today's accounting, today's MIS is not a post-mortem of event, but on the contrary, it is a real-time kind of a alert or a solution which is provided through the technology, which provides various kind of solutions, and which provides various kind of alerts, which provides various kind of outputs, which the management can take as input, and may be able to scrutinize and take logical decisions in terms of their costing, their businesses, rather than a postmortem of the event after the advent of 6 months, 8 months, which, as a startup or as any company, affordability will be a major kind of an issue. So all these things in a unified platform is provided by a Megasoft group of companies. And uh, coming to the USP or the features which we have been I've been talking about, some of the USPs are exhibited here, but I'll broadly run through the main USPs which we think which will bring high degree of semblance and high degree uh, of logical parameters to the startups. We provide a team of IT professionals and experts under our domain, which help to customize, which help to create kind of technology solutions, updates on various new parameters which are happening, opportunities which are happening. Just to give you a latest one of the latest example, is the liberalized mapping policy announced this Monday by the government, which allows Indian firms to use high precision satellite imagery of from up to 1 meter and beyond. So previously what was happening was companies like Apple and Google had the rights or the permissions to do this kind of imagery and do this kind of a business in terms of providing the data to various users at a cost. Now, the Indian government has been wise enough and very proactive in allowing this kind of a service to Indian firms, and the data is to be stored in the servers in India. So one can build applications, including more efficient, more accurate, on in terms of delivery models, online purchasing, app-based users, Ubers, where location of the person becomes prominent. There are thousands and thousands of usages which will be there, and it's said to be kind of a gold rush which has been opened by the government of India for new startups, for SMEs to do this kind of a mapping business where they can map various kind of locations and addresses and maintain the database in their individual servers and sell that data at a premium to various customers. So I mean, team of professionals and experts is there from our side, and then what we do is there is a CRM help desk support, which is prominently of very high end usage for any startups for addressing their query management and various kind of supports which we provide. There is a there is a stay compliant to government regulations. This is an important feature which we provide. Compliance to all kinds of government rules, regulations, which may be applicable to any kind of an industry, manufacturing, service, or any kind of a prominent startup, which we provide as an alert, and then application of those rules, regulations once notified and once applicable can be there. So that helps A in compliances, B in due diligence, C in running a smart company and saving on to their various kinds of costs, and alerts are there. So various advantages are there in terms of technology, in terms of processes, in terms of domain knowledge of accounting, taxation, legal, all embraced through the technology which is made available. There are tailor-made services which are offered to the best suit. This is something which is of prominence importance which we provide, and we provide online processing solutions through the aid of technology, and which helps in there are a lot of AIs available. There are a lot of MIS systems alerts available, notifications available through the platform, which are made available. There are mobile apps available. There are chatbots available for various kind of CRM tools or various kind of query resolution. So everything is within the control and at the top, and it's kind of a decentralized kind of a working environment, yet centralized in terms of decision making, where all alerts, all information is available to the promoters of the startups. So this is something which is there. Then we talk about the Megasoft advantages which are there in terms of improving the hiring process. This is Megasoft advantage in the HR domain which we are talking about. We will very quickly run through the broad parameters of what we provide, how we provide, and what are the advantages. We say that we improve the hiring process through automation, through smart AI based intelligence checks, screenings, applications. We reduce attrition, addressing the employee queries, addressing the employee issues. There is an improved experience for 360-degree, which is available not only to internal users, clients, but to various kinds of outside users, vendors, outside vendors, which is there. We end up with a productive workforce, whereby when I say productive workforce, there are various tools for analyzing and working, analyzing the work of an employee and coming to us, taking us to a parameter of a variable performance management systems, and ultimately it improves the processes and it gains the trust of the customers and the external users. Then uh, then there are we talk about our key service offerings which are there. I mentioned about the single stop shop which is there. So there is a complete suite which is all embedded in a technology platform, on a single platform. In terms of human resource management system is there, the complete life cycle management of the employee is being managed through our platform. We are able to customize the processes which are peculiar to each of the company or the startup. There is a payroll management system, effectively manages all kind of compliances, all kind of payroll issues, best salary structures, adapting to budget changes, adapting to tax compliances, ESI, EPF, provident funds. All issues are addressed through this platform. There is a team backed up by a team. That team takes care of all the issues which are there. Accounting solutions we have. In terms of accounting solutions, we are managing the accounting, managing the MIS, costing structures, the cash flows, the fund flows, banking applications, funding requirements, and the uh, uh, basic due diligence management for any kind of an investor. We front end that, audit advisories, taxation, legal, secretarial, labor compliances, accounts payable, receivable management. All these areas are prominent areas which affects our cash flows, which affects our profitability, which affects our existence in the business, which takes our business to the next level. So these areas we have very meticulously and very minutely addressed each and every issue which may arise, and then how to address those issues. Just to give a brief screenshot of our product and the services which we offer is the complete life cycle management which I spoke about in terms of the from the hire till the fire life cycle of an employee. Employee profile data, everything is on a digital platform. It is available. All kinds of the complete HR file is digitalized, and it is available on either on a mobile app or on a web-based application. There is a time management module which we have. In this also we have applied technology. The attendance can be marked through a face recognition system, and this product is going to be soon launched by us. And without, we don't require any capex or any investment in any kind of a attendance machine. By face recognition, the time in, time out, and the leave and other things can be managed through a mobile app, and which is available on the Apple Store and the Android applications to download, and then use the mobile apps for marking the attendance, marking the leaves, and various other kinds of facilities are there. Travel and expense management is there. Travel and expense management, we have complete travel module, which might be useful for startups or which might not be, because travel and expense startups have generally have less number of employees. Then goal setting and performance management. This is a useful tool which is there because performance management in terms of pay structures and the way of salaries are being structured in the times to come. The salaries are more variable, and it is variable. Firstly, what used to happen was there was PMS or performance management evaluation system, which was there on an annual basis. Then it came down to 6 months, 3 months, now to 1 month, now on a daily basis, and maybe on an hourly basis. So our tool is prominent to capture the performance of each and every employee in terms of what they are performing, how they are performing, whether they are as per the norms, and whether they are within the parameters. So these are the basket of our tech-enabled product. I spoke of touchless face recognition machine, but this has also been now put it in as an app on the mobile. There is a AI-based chatbot. There is app-based location tracking, geofencing facility. We can track any employee and give the dominance and the positioning. Facility management, any kind of facilities are there, stationary management, etc., is also part of our module, which is made available. So what we intend to do is repetitive transactions, repetitive and routine transactions, for which there is a requirement of an HR department, even of a 50-100 employees, or this is all available to employee on a self-service portal through a mobile app. In terms of any kind of a document one wants to download in terms of letters, in kind of their form 16s, in their salary certificates, any kind of information which we want to put it to the for the use of the employees is available to them. They can take downloads, print out what are the leave balances, etc. Is all automated and in a technology based environment. Some of the new onboarding applications which we are doing is attracting the best talent, the value of human talent or the human resources cannot be undermined for any organization, and they make the potential difference of a successful organization and not a successful organization. So this talent acquisition and onboarding platform is being created by us, which is backed by AI, mobile enablement, which is the video interviews, ATS capabilities are there. So all those things are embedded in a platform. This is the new module which we have also put in place for work from home, keeping in view the future working norms which are emerging. And as per our information and statistics, most of the companies, 20% of the people are being preferred to work from home, and the routine and the not so key people are not being preferred to call to the office. How to monitor them, how to make sure that they are performing, and they are performing as per the requirements. All these things I've embedded in a quality management tool which is there. Work from home module is there. We also have vendor management and the contract management tool which is there, which where we have a contractor, how to make sure that the contractor workforce is actually working, and the amount of money which we are paying is as per the agreed norms. So this is a comprehensive tool which is there. The other bit which I spoke about the compliance management. Compliance management is something which is of prominence, and there are huge penal issues and consequences which are there. The latest example, and for a startup to decode these tools or use the services of experts may be a costly affair. So this is made available through a compliance management tool which we have, and where which can be used in terms of handling various kind of compliances which are applicable to the startups, and all updates and all new changes are made available, and there is a handholding which is provided, like the new labor code etc has been the latest, where the labor codes, and there is a shift in the definitions on applicability of wages for the purposes of provident fund, and there is a cost element, and there is a kind of a significant awareness which has to be there to apply to these kind of changes and make sure that there is a complete compliance. So that also is part of the product which we have. Some of the startups which we are at this point of time we are handling something in the areas of healthcare, life care, and in diagnostic, and some of the chambers which we are handling and providing similar kind of services. We are also registered with MSME and GEM, and we are ISO 9001 certified and SAS 16 certified type 2. We are also working for public sector, Indian Railways Finance Corporation and Central Warehousing Corporation, where our services are being used in the areas of HRMS and payroll, and other domain areas are being used, and the technology part is being used. Central Warehousing Corporation was one of the first PSUs which digitalized all its records, HR records, and its various records, and we were instrumental in helping them out on this. The other bit of it is the management of the is the sales part, is the unified digital sales strategy which we are doing through the digital marketing campaign or the digital marketing company which we run. There is there is a shift there is a shift in the marketing bit of it. Previous the concept of marketing, and now the concept of digital marketing. It's not about acquiring a customer today.
Yes.
It is basically about managing the complete life cycle of the customer. Once we get on board a customer, the complete management of the life cycle of the customer becomes prominence. And digitally, we can't keep adding layers of people for managing all these things. So this is all done through technology platform, whereby the complete onboarding of the customer till he remains your customer, there is a complete handholding and there is a complete pleasure of his journey being with us. That is something which we do in the digital marketing. What primarily we do is we manage all the digital assets. Today, managing of digital assets is of an important area, which I think a higher knowledge or a domain knowledge is very difficult to have for any startup. So digital assets would include management of the websites, your apps, your social media, your ad network. These are important tools which are facing the public or the customer at large where you are pitching in, and these have to be pitched or posed correctly and should bring semblance and significant kind of a interface between the potential customer and the company. So what we do is, in digital marketing, we manage the digital assets, we manage the marketing goals of the company, we prepare a digital plan of go to market. What should be the strategy? What segment, what strata of the society or the customers we should pitch at? How do we make a customer interested? How do we get the customer on board? We retain the customer, we sign the customer, and we manage to retain the customer. So there are digital campaigns run on strategic timings, and there is a strategy framework which is there, which is being managed by us through these digital campaigns. And then we there are various aspects which we take care of digital marketing. There is a complete experience in terms of program manager which we dedicate. There is a 365 days support, online support, dashboards are there, and continuous ROAS is there, and there is a measurement of an ROAS. ROAS is typically a kind of a return on ad spent. So it's a terminology used in the digital world wherein there is a return of on the ad money which we spend. Give you a typical example, a florist eh, on one of the localities, he spends some money on advertising. So if you spend 10,000 rupees on advertising, what is the break even point? What is the revenue he has generated as additional customers? So this this kind of a support in terms of digital marketing is being leveraged by us. We prepare a complete strategy framework. When we prepare a strategy framework for a digital marketing, there is a team which goes in for the goals, digital goals. What are the products which we take care? What are the online channels which are there? We create a mix of the online channel. What are the defects in the present online channel? We try to rectify those defects through various kind of online technology tools which we apply. And then there is a reach out for non-converters, and then we drive the engagement programs and the engagement plan. So this is all strategized in a kind of a blueprint, and we put in a kind of a buy-in of all the stakeholders, and we enhance the brand image of the company by adopting to this kind of strategy. And then we have various kinds of uh, through digital marketing, what is what that we want to achieve. There has to be an aggressive brand awareness which has to be there. There is a visibility and the reach which we are able to generate through our team, and there is a lead generation which is there, and we target a segment depending on the pitch we decide along with the management, and we drive a strong marketing agenda. And we are developing a iModo tool, which is iModo knock, which which electronically picks up data from all the social medias of interested customers through LinkedIn, through Facebook, and then it churns and massages and makes it into a kind of a lead, and then convert that lead into a customer. So all this is done electronically, and physically or managing it may not be a feasible kind of a solution. So we are developing this iModo tool to interface with all the parameters of all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever they are there, and electronically we link up, and then we analyze it electronically and through various kind of tools which we have developed, and then generate into kind of a leads, and then convert that leads into hot leads and then potential customers. We also do virtual event management. There are tie-ups with international companies on providing various kind of virtual event management. This business has picked up a lot because all networking events, all conferences, all product launch, car shows are all done electronically today. Company, and it gives a feel of being present there. Even the names, the board, the tag boards, everything is there. The recordings are there. The potential in customers who are interested is there. Any webinar events are there. These are all done through digital platforms, and these are managed by us. And not to miss the importance of content management, and what is the right kind of content which is there, what is the key to your customers, what is your compelling story that needs to be put in the key kind of words which are there, and which our expert team does, and then embeds all this into a final kind of a marketing strategy, a digital marketing strategy. And this becomes a forte or a touch point with the customers, and with the world, in terms of converting those into businesses. So friends, briefly, this was something which we wanted to show on a very, very macro level. And then we can, through the upcoming series of our webinars, we will reach out in terms of each company in more detail about our products, more detailing once. And if there are areas of interest which are there, then those can also be showcased, and those can also be part of our presentation subsequently. I would now like to leave the floor for question answers, and we would expect the question answers which are there. I will pick up some of the questions. There are in the chat. Some of the questions have been raised by the participants. I will read out the name, and I would like to address whatever I can, because there are a lot of questions which are there. So whatever I can answer within a short time, I will try to address. One of the questions which is there is from Vikram, and he's asking about the minimum headcount criteria in the given services and the utilities that are designed keeping in with the size and scalability. Yes, Vikram, there is no minimum headcount, but having said that, no minimum headcount, the minimum headcount has to make semblance of, say, anything less than 10 numbers does not make a commercial sense to either you or to us, unless and until there is a potential which we see. So a minimum headcount, you can say yes, up to 10 headcounts can be a startup. Uh, Then Jitendra has asked a question, and is there any relaxation available in service costing for small business startups? Certainly, there is. We we will handhold the companies, and want to grow the companies, and we are already servicing more than 200 companies. So what I feel is, there will be a different costing structure, Jitendra, for the relaxation in terms of costing for small businesses and startup. And then minimum headcount again, Vikram, there is a minimum headcount on board is 10, and a la carte facilities are also available. Anjali, you are asking about the a la carte facility. You can pick and choose what you want. We can embed all this. It's not pushed onto you. Rather, a packaged service will be there, what as per your requirements. And so this is what it is. And any other question from anyone else which is
Okay,
there?
so these were some of the questions which we have received over the chat. So if anyone wants to ask any question, you can unmute yourself and have a word with Mr. Sanjeev regarding that.
So what I presume is at the moment there are not many other questions. If anyone has a question, we have your registration details. We will share this presentation with Mr. Gupta, Devanshu Gupta, and we can then, if there is any question which is there, uh, then uh, if there is any if question, you can put in a mail or contact us. We'll be pleased and happy to answer these questions and take the discussion further. You can connect with Megasoft. One of the questions is where can I connect with Megasoft? We will share the details at the end of this presentation. There is a contact details, and we will also share the details. Vivek, can you just share the details of contact details of Megasoft along
I'll do that, sir.
website address and other details? There are a few questions where few people have asked this question of how to connect with Megasoft. So I think if there is anything else, please let us know. We will be happy to address and answer. Contact details have been shared on the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev ji, for such informative session. Is there any other person who wants to ask the question? I think they won't have any question currently.
Hmm.
So let us close this.
Yeah, Mr. Gupta, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you,
Megasoft.
everyone,
Thank
for
you.
attending this session.
Thank you, MSH. Thank you, Secretary Saab. Thank you, everyone.